question that I got from one of my guys just this morning. He said, how long should it take for a leader to start showing progress in leadership? So when you hire a leader and you bring them in, how long do you give them? And my instant thought was, well, everybody's different. But I do think that you can put a timeline on it, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, but what's progress? I mean, progress is so different to so many different people. That'd be the first question I ask is, how does either that person or how do you measure progress?
Yeah, and how do we know that they're actually getting well, then after coming down the stairs, I was thinking about it more, or coming down the elevator. I was thinking, well, I think in order to really figure this out, you've got to almost set the parameters on day one. I think one thing that we make a mistake at Empire and the crown companies, I should call it, we don't set a good enough guideline on day one. Expectations.
Or have them set their own expectations.
Well, no, I think that so get this. We just hired a young man down in Kansas City, and we've got a young man that we hired 2 years ago. The guy in Kansas City, we drew very clear, like, this is what we're asking you to do. This is your roles.
So, yes, no, setting clear expectations, but so you promoted somebody.
No, I'm sorry. We hired, so get this guy in Kansas City is actually passing up the guy that we've had for 2 years.
Yeah.
Up in Nebraska. And I think what it was is that on day one, we said, this is our expectations. This is the rails. By the way, you're free to move about and do business development and talk to and here, but this is our expectations for you for the first year. And he is off and running. And we actually had to move him around to a different division because he was struggling.
But the expectations is not the ceiling, it's the floor. Right? Because otherwise you're just going to put somebody in a box and not be surprised.
Well, we don't, yeah, well, okay.
But so you were talking about, but the question, read the question again. Because
how long should it take for a new leader to get going? That's literally what he texted me.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's a leader at some stage. So.
Oh, yeah. I love it when John Maxwell says, our leader's born. And he's like, well, of course, everybody's born.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
Silly goose.
What's the context behind that?
You got to use silly goose every once in a while.
Silly goose.
Silly goose.
What's the context behind that? Because I have a thought.
He's struggling with one of his guys that he moved into the foreman role, and he's not acting like a foreman. And I'm trying to use a different example of actually somebody higher in the company, but he promoted a guy because he was doing well.
He promoted a producer.
Yes, a producer, right?
And now, now he's not a reproducer,
right? Or he's not. He's actually. He feels like he's slipped backwards a little bit. He's going back into his old role.
Yeah,
it's tough, right? To take a field guy that's really good at building fence and say, "Hey, now I need you to be the foreman." In our company, it's even harder to be a superintendent because superintendents run multiple crews.
I mean, that question though is, I mean, how long, or better yet, what are they doing to grow that leader? I mean, that's the reality is, I mean, what is he going to do? Just grow himself, like through hard knocks? I mean, what has he done to grow? Like we were talking about Dakota. Dakota hasn't been in a leadership role, but I told you 2 years, and we've been growing him for a year. And I've been working on my personal growth for several years, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
I'm here because I want to work on my personal growth.
So
we're here because we want to be in the room with Mark Olson and David.
Yeah.
And we want to sit with them at dinner and talk strategy.
I just don't think there's a destination to leadership. So if the guy's already growing, then he's doing good. But if he's not growing, show me how you helped him grow. But I think some people are producers and not reproducers. And that's the first key is setting an expectation is that, hey, we're promoting you.
So like
So you could-
the education system takes all their best teachers and promotes them to admin, but they're not good at admin. They're great teachers.
Yeah.
And that's the only way they make more money. So they want to move.
It's very similar to a lot of business owners. They're technicians that become business owners. So
Yeah, and they don't know how to read their balance sheet.
we should do a whole thing on balance sheets. But
All right, new question. Ready?
I don't think we totally answered that. How long? I mean,
Nobody knows.
nobody knows. But as long as you're seeing growth, and I mean, show me what the growth looks
We
like.
need a clip of Nate Bargatze. Have you ever heard him?
Yeah.
He's the guy that does that. Nobody knows.
Nobody,
How come the centimeters and the inches don't line up? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
We need that clip that.
3 feet to a yard.
And how many yards to a mile?
Nobody knows.
Nobody.
Yeah, I think it really boils down to producers, reproducers. But it makes me think of that. My Alberto, I've told him numerous times. Alberto doesn't want to be promoted. He just flat out doesn't. He wants to do his job. He loves his job the way he is. He loves being an expert at it. And so, if I were to promote him without permission, he wouldn't be a reproducer. But I'll tell you what, the statistics show that people get complacent in the role after 2 years right now. Like we have that instant gratification lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
and infinite choices. So people lose interest in things. The statistics saying about every 2 years. So it's so critical to onboard people properly and quickly, because like how long do you have? Well, I can tell you right now, if you give the person a year to settle in, you only got a year before they flatline, and then you're in that. You need to treat it just like you would how Nick Saban does, where you need to have a system in place that gets that person equipped before they're in that role. Number one,
Yeah.
and then number two, you need to move swiftly. So whoever asked that question is how much have you poured into that person?
Yeah. Well, and we always do this, right? We always do this is you. How much we need to spend 3 times more effort, and this is praying for him.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey,
3 times more effort. I like that.
Hey, so
It gets much-
I come up with this, and I think I learned this from Kim Scott in her book Radical Candor. I was going back and trying to find it today, but I had one of my people ask me how when other people come into their office and they get emotional, they're just like they're very uncomfortable when other people start crying or getting emotional. And I read a thing on Radical Candor that she says to have water in your office, because if you give the person a bottle of water, unscrewing that lid will distract them from their emotional, and they'll be able to gather their tears and their emotions a little bit, or even to get up and go get them a Kleenex and bring it back to them, and then hand them the bottle of water so they can dry themselves up, get clear, and then open the bottle of water.
That's why I was shocked that the meditation thing didn't like totally take off for you, because when I take 3 or 4 deep breaths, what comes out next is so different.
Really? I can't do it. I need to practice it more.
Because I mean, ultimately what that bottle or that is pausing. It's taking a breath. And the amount of science behind putting any kind of oxygen into your brain. I mean, so I was shocked that the meditation didn't take off for you.
So I wanted to share with people out there listening that if you're having that, I think one, as a good leader, you should have bottled water in your office.
I dig it.
You should have a fidget spinner or something like that. And also you should have your Cubby cards, your Inspire and Trust cards.
Did you see those pins that we printed? They were inspirational quotes. On every pin was a different quote.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so when you're riding and you're having a bad day, you can look down and like nothing's faster than the speed of trust, or the seed is more powerful than the gardener. And so we put all those stickers in our office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we want people to feel a certain way. So that way, when we're not able to receive, like, what if you're talking about somebody coming to your office and what if you're not there to give them a bottle of water?
I went, by the way.
No, I went here. You guys going? So if you don't have anybody there to hand a bottle of water, what's your backup plan? Like for you, your backup plan is Bronco parking. For me, it's my leather seats that are purple. So you got to put all those kind of things in place to give people bottles of water, even if you're not around. But I like Radical Candor a lot.
Yeah.
We should
Have
find
you read
that.
the book?
Yes. So this would be a funny quick. Somebody told me, he said, "Be nice to your barista because they'll give you decaf in the morning if you're rude on the intercom, and be nice to your waiter because they'll give you caffeinated when you ask for decaf."
I love it.
Yeah, and I can assure you, there's been some times that I ended up with decaf in my coffee. I can guarantee you.
I do like me some caffeine. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're on a 1-with-1, how often do you, and this is me trying to coach our people, catch yourself more worried about what your answer is going to be than listening to what they're saying?
Oh yeah. Trying to impress instead of impact.
Yeah, and I always tell my people, your intent should be to understand, not to answer. So spend more time trying to understand their point or where they're coming from. So if I one trick I tell our people is take a moment and just be quiet and just listen, and encourage them to spill their guts, so to speak, of what they're struggling with. Sean Owsley and I, we meet every Monday morning, probably like 6 a.m. Meet Monday morning meeting at
6, not 7.
Not 7,
6.
6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nobody knows. That's my new one. Nobody knows.
No. Okay. So I think for new young leaders, one of the best things you could do is meet virtually. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Because
Is it my turn?
Yes. You can meet virtually because those AI readers will tell you who did the majority of the talking and how fast your talking is. So if you have spike in talking, it means you're getting excited about what you're saying. And generally, when you're processing what somebody else says, you slow down. And so it's amazing. Like when I do coaching, it's still all the time I dominate the conversation, and coaching is not about me. And so I think that's an incredible tool and you could even turn it on, like if we were here and just had it listening. But repeating mirroring is all you got to do to show that you're a listener. What I heard you say was this. Is that accurate?
There you
But
go.
no, seriously though, mirroring is Jeffries talks a lot about that, but that's most people are just listening to respond,
Right.
Because they want to sound great. I can tell you my biggest coaching moments is when people discover clarity on their own. All I do is just ask them questions.
Well, that happens a lot too.
And that's way more rewarding. Yeah, I've never been misquoted when I don't speak. A breath is the best first word. Did that answer that question?
I think so. Ready for another one?
So, hey, but you know what? That's why a lot of people get nervous going, like speaking, is because they're so worried about trying to impress somebody. But if you know the information.
So get this. I one time, I was early in my construction career, and this was one of the moments where I figured out that I don't have to know everything. So we're doing this sports complex when I work for Landscapes Unlimited, and the architect was a hard ass. I mean, he was a bulldog, and we had a really nice, beautiful building we had to build in the middle of this quad, right? I mean, they had fancy stone. I mean, it was really, really nice. So we're walking around, and all of a sudden we realized that we had to make a penetration through this, and we had to do this, and we had done something wrong. And he goes, and he's looking at the block, and I happen to have my mason with me because we had some efflorescence going on right at the beginning of the project. Like we weren't even done, and we already had it. And I didn't really know what efflorescence was, so I was trying to figure it out. And all of a sudden he goes, well, maybe you could just take that block and soap in a new piece and go. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, we'll soap in a new piece. And my mason leans up behind me and he goes, I got you, bro. I'm like, oh, good. We walk away and he goes, you had no clue. I had no clue.
I
He
do.
goes,
I do a lot of masonry, and I don't even know what soap into new pieces.
yeah. So what they do is it's so cool. They will cut the piece at an angle, cut the piece out, and they'll literally take a new piece and grout it in, and you don't ever even see that it's there. I mean, like masons are amazing. They do amazing work, and they don't get near enough credit.
We have about 20 mason. We call them artists. They're
beautiful.
Yeah, they beat on rock, and then
they take that mud and they just and they got the string on there, and isn't it amazing?
That's a fun icebreaker we do every once in a while. Is do a role in the company that you wish you could do other than your own job, but you can't use any words. And so the framer.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know,
big
but the
time.
mason, it's always
Yeah, it's
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's exact. Yeah, everybody wants to be a mason.
golly,
It's hard work.
I like them. They're so cool. So when I build Taj Mahal, I'm going to have some CMU block, very, very cool block in there.
See, that's what I think is going to really help us in the sports construction, is that all that CMU and all the brickwork and everything is going to be easy for us. That's the easiest part of the project. Let's hit another question.
All right, good. I love it. This is good, right?
It's your turn.
This is work.
It's your turn.
You were all nervous, worried. You're like, we got to have a plan. We got to have a.
No, I never would.
You never were.
No,
no. I think that's why I'm more of a planner than you are. You are totally a wing it, swing it, let's go.
The plan's there. It just comes after the fact.
Oh, okay. We just talked about not always. We are very confident in not knowing, right?
Yeah.
How do we teach our people that it's okay not to have all the answers? How do you teach that? What's the 1-2 punch?
So the question is, how do we encourage people to not always have to be right? So I think that some of the reason why people like to be right is because the loudest people or the right people get rewarded. And you need to, I think if you like for us, and we talked about it, you guys don't do commissions either. If you only celebrate the person who wins instead of the whole group that participated, people will start only wanting to be the one that was right. Yeah. Does that make sense? That got a little hairy, so I lost my train of thought. But
I don't know. I struggle with it because to me, it's arrogance. Why do you have to be right all the time?
I think that you end up rewarding people who are right more often than people who actually, what's that quote? It's more important to do the right thing than to always be right. But sometimes being right isn't always the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you can
in leadership, you really have to learn how to be humble and you have to learn too, even when you are right, you cannot say, see, I told you so. That's
the worst. I don't think I've said that in 5 years.
So I used to let Jamie say that to me once in a while when we would I would say, you get to say it once. Now he didn't get to say it very often, but every once in a while he would be right. And I would let him say it. And it was more of a banter back and forth. But what I should have been coaching was we don't say that, period. Be humble.
I have a few people who say, glad you guys finally took my idea 2 years later.
Oh.
And
that's a tough one too.
Yeah. And that's interesting too, because most people's ideas get thrown into a blender. And whenever we do it, it doesn't look like their idea anymore, but it may have come from their original idea.
Yeah. You know how many people told me they thought of my salesman way before I ever did?